Hello everyone, I was asked to make a video about how to combine my projects. And now I'm going to explain it. It is possible to combine only CGR projects. The old CG projects will be updated to the CGR version, and then you will be able to combine them. At the moment, the old CG projects are too different from each other, so it will be very difficult to combine them into one project. Work on updating all projects to the CGR version is in progress. When this video is being recorded, only two projects of the CGR version are ready. These are our mod and a K-mod. So, we will combine them in this video. But before we start, I would like to briefly introduce you to the project. Beginners often ask me why they can't pick up items when they create their own projects based on mine. For example, we come close to the weapon, and they don't see the widget F pick up. I'll explain now. How does it all happen? Items that you pick up and the character have their own collision. The character's collision is a capsule. Collision of items in my project is a sphere. When a player comes close to an item, the character's capsule collision interacts with the item's sphere collision, and the event overlap occurs. Why doesn't it work for them like it does for me? This is because the character's capsule collision usually uses the collision preset called pawn. I use custom presets in my project. My character has this capsule collision from the list of custom presets. Where can you find these presets? We go to Settings, Project Settings, Collision, Presets. We scroll down, but don't find the list of custom presets. In this case, we tear off the tab and put it back. Now we can scroll down, and find custom presets. There are 5 of them. Starting with projectile collision. And you should copy all of them into your project. Let's open Edit. Edit profile has opened. And all the preset settings are here. Let's continue. Next, we go to Weapons, Blueprints, Guns Pickup, and select any blueprint of weapon. This is a child class from the parent class BP Weapon Base. Where is this blueprint of the parent class located? Click here. BP Weapon Base, along this path. Let's open it to make it clear. This is the parent class of all weapons in my project. In turn, this class is a child class of the parent class BP Pickup Master, but we are not interested in it. We are interested in BP Weapon Base. It displays all the functions of weapons reloading, shooting, everything related to the weapons. When this video is being recorded, there is no difference between a K-mod and our mod in CGR projects. No difference at all. I made them identical in order to make it easier for you to combine them. Therefore, here, in these two projects, we don't change anything. Let's continue. And now we will take a look at the data table. To be more specific, at Weapon Data Table. This is the data table that displays all the weapons that are available in the project. It is worth mentioning that a data row for a certain weapon is created in the following way. Click Add. And then we see a template for filling in information about weapon. Let's choose a weapon. Here are all its characteristics. Variable name is on the left side and its value on the right. This is the caliber of the weapon. And this is the barrel length. Different weapons have different barrel lengths. For example, regular, long, and short barrel length. Also, there are hands animation of the weapon itself, and so on. It's important to note the anim state. Since we have the R mod weapon, you should select CG R mod anim state from the list. Here is a list of the left-hand positions when holding the weapon. This is the name of the socket to which we snap the weapon. And this one is the name of the backpack socket. At the very end of the table, we can see all the data of the procedural recoil of the weapon. By changing these values, we change the behavior of the weapon when firing. For example, let's take a look. Any changes we make here will take effect only when the entire project is restarted. But this is very inconvenient to notice what exact changes were made. Therefore, I will show you another way to see the result immediately without restarting. We go to the weapon blueprint, to the child class. Then go to the construction script. We create 24 variables of the float type with the same names as we indicated in data table. Let's open it again. These are the names. These are the variables when the character takes aim. And these are variables when holding the weapon at the hip. We will close this. So, you create 24 variables of the float type. You name them appropriately, as I have just showed you. Then we call data. Select break. Here we write set. Select this set from the list. Now right-click on the set and select Restore All Structure Pins. We unfold the break. Let's align them. And let's move this set further away. And now we need to connect all the pins from the break to the set, except for the pins of the procedural recoil. Because all the information, except for the procedural recoil, we transmit unchanged. I'll speed up the video. We have reached the procedural recoil pins. And now we need to connect previously created variables to them. You should connect each variable to its own pin strictly by the name. Well, we've connected all of them. For now, we disconnect our construction to see how the weapon behaves when firing by default. And now let's connect it back. Since we have zeros in all variables, the weapon will behave in a completely different way now. Did you notice? Let's fill in some data. Let's say in role, we see two variables minimum values and maximum values. Here you should enter a positive value, while here a negative one. Let's enter a value here. For example, -7, and here 7, and see what happens. These changes should take effect in real time. Did you notice? Well, let's enter greater values to make it clearer. I recommend entering large values first to see clearly what exactly is changing. You can see the changes, right? Well, let's return the values. We were satisfied with the 7s. Let's enter some more values. We will change the location by X coordinate. The weapon movement will be backwards. So we will enter a negative value. Now we will see the weapon recoil. It is not necessary for weapon to move forward, so we can leave 0 value. But the recoil value, we will make a little more. Let's change the lateral movement of the weapon when firing. I am entering approximate values. You may enter your own values to watch the effect. That's all I wanted to show you on this method. You may either create this for each weapon, or you may experiment and enter the values you like in the data table. We are done with this. Now let's go to the animation section. Let's take any one. Since procedural recoil and procedural aiming are used, then let me show you. Did you notice? You may aim while reloading the weapon. To make this possible, you need to do the following. Let's say in this animation, you need to enter an additive animation. We select Mesh Space, then selected Animation Scaled, and here we select Idle Animation. Pay attention to the suffix in the name, but that's not all. We will need to do the same in the montage. As you can see, I have placed the additive animation in a separate folder. Open the montage of the same animation, and here you should choose the same idle animation. If you don't do this, you will get such a strange animation. Let's take it back. Everything works. And also I would like to show you the notifies. I actively use them in my project. For example, Cam Shake Notify. The time slider gets to this point, and the camera starts shaking because of this notify. This notify is called here Anim BP arms. Here either a set of a variable is called, or some event. That's it. Well, we are done with the first insight into the project. Now let's move on to combining to projects. Since we started this video with the RMod project, let's agree that we will transfer all assets from the AKMod project to it. As I said before, these two projects are absolutely identical, and there is no difference from which to which project assets are transferred. Let's also agree that you may name the project to which we transfer assets in your own way. The project we are working with in this video, we will call RMod. So, from the AKMod project, we will transfer all assets. A few words how I would do this. I would have transferred all the hand animations, weapon animations, meshes, sounds, effects. They would have taken the materials and textures they needed. I have a set of weapon blueprints. Let's say we would copy this blueprint. AKMod Classic, for example. Let's take a look at it. What would I do to transfer all assets? I would go to the parent class that I showed you. BP Weapon Base. By the way, I would do this in the RMod project, not in this one. So, right-click and select Create Child Blueprint Class. I will name it the same way as the reference we have chosen. And here, I would copy its name in the weapon name line. The weapon's name in the blueprint is very important. Because the weapon data table recognizes what kind of weapon it is by this name. According to this line, everything related to this weapon is assigned to this blueprint. All the animation and everything about the weapon is recognized by the system. We don't touch all these attributes. We are only interested in the weapon name here. We fill the skeletal mesh slot here. If we look here, we will find it. And then assign it here. We would look for it in a new project. But we did it in a different way. We fill the empty slots in all the components of this blueprint with the corresponding meshes. Everything is copied as in the reference. It is found and copied in this way. All logic is also copied, as in the reference. I would do it like this in such a long, painful, but clean way. Everything would be clear, without bindings and links from scratch. But I suspect that you are not interested in this way that seems boring and time-consuming. Therefore, we will consider another way. Let's think about it. We are not interested in this folder. This folder will be taken into the project automatically when we transfer this folder. We are interested in animation from here and everything else, as I listed it to you earlier. And here only animation. So, let's start with this folder and try to migrate it. Let's see what we need to turn off. We are not interested in the character's skeleton of this project, because there is its own skeleton. Therefore, we safely turn off the character. We keep the FX. Hands, animation, and weapons. That's it. The only thing that we have turned off is the character in the demo. Now we select the project and the folder called Content. We open it and copy into it. Great. What we have transferred from here took only part of the hands animation. That is why we take this folder and also migrate it. We turn off the character again. Then turn off weapons and the FX too. We only transfer the hands animation. Take a look again. We turn off the demo. We turn off the weapons. We transfer only FPS arms into the same folder called Content. We agree with the message and click Yes All. This will not erase and overwrite everything, but will complement it. Now we will move on to the mod project. Well, we have opened this mod project, the project in which we will work. So, in order not to get confused in these folders, let's set the color for one of them. For example, we will choose red. Also, let's rename this Anim, because we have it duplicated. And this blueprint is duplicated in this project with this project. Let's change some letter here. Let's put such a noticeable, little used letter Z. Here, too. Let's put the letter Z in front of player. Why are we doing this? In order not to get confused. Let's also change the name here in gun state. And here, let's put Z before fire mode. And let's rename Anim weapon holding types too. Then you will understand why we did all this. Everything is black because now the animations are trying to address to the skeleton from this project, but it is not here. What to do? In the search engine, we write Anim and see almost all the animation for the character from the Anim project. We select everything. Right-click, find Retarget Anim Assets, select Retarget Skeleton on existing Anim Assets. Select the skeleton of this project and click Retarget. That's it. Let's find the reload animation. As you can see, everything works well. But we see that we did not retarget all the animation because we were looking for Anim and the name of these animations is different. Without thinking twice, let's highlight and retarget animations. And do the same with this one. Let's save the changes. And let's go in here. Fix it. The name is different, so the search engine did not find this animation. And let's fix it here too. Okay, everything is fine. Now let's move the animations from this project to this one. Let's close unnecessary things. Right here, we'll transfer it here in the animation. Let's check it. Find Miscellaneous and select Redirector. We have no errors. Make it a rule to often press this Redirector button to check if there are any errors. If there are any errors, then it will be necessary to fix them. How to fix them? You will need to right-click on them and select Fix Up. Let's continue. By the way, we haven't renamed it here. Nothing interests us here. Only this one remained. Then, all these red folders from this project, we will delete and clean up, but carefully. Let's transfer the weapon animations Let's check it. Everything is okay. Audio. This is all duplicated. We are only interested in this folder. So, blueprints. Well, pickups. I think we'll return to them a little later. These sites are duplicated. They do not interest us. We are interested here in the laser target designator, compensator, ammo, and suppressor. We will come back to that later. This is all duplicated. The pickup master is also duplicated. That's it. Here we are only interested in pickup guns. Here we need to create new folder. Let's name it a Kmod Weapon BP. We select all of them and drag them here. Let's check it. Everything is okay. What's next? Effects. We are interested in these cartridge cases. They need to be transferred right here. We will close unnecessary folders. And from this folder, we transfer them here. We don't transfer this particle effect because it is duplicated. Materials. Materials are a whole different story, very serious. Let's return to them a little later. And look here. Here we need to create a folder called the Kmod Meshes. We need to be careful here, because we don't need all the meshes. Everything where it says a Kmod, we safely transfer. Good, but that's not all. These meshes are duplicated. We need cartridges. FL switcher is duplicated, and we also need the switchers, LCU meshes, and shell meshes. Everything else is duplicated. So, and let's look at the textures. We transfer this folder. Let's name it a Kmod Textures. So, we're interested in the render target. We transfer it. Great! Only materials have remained. This is a serious topic. We don't transfer all the materials. Many materials are duplicated. We can safely highlight these materials, except this one. Wherever it says a Kmod and these two cartridges. But before you transfer them, you need to fix something. These materials refer to the wrong project. We need this project. What are we going to do? Let's take a look at it. It is necessary to change the parent for each material that we are going to transfer. For making this, we go here. Master materials. What kind of material do we have? RGB mask. Here it is, and that's how we reassign it. Save here and here. And we reassign all the necessary materials using this routine method. I'll do this off camera, and then I'll be back. But before that, I would like to mention that in some materials we also need to reassign textures. As you can see, it refers to the wrong project. I'll reassign it now for an example. Where do we have the cartridge textures? We assign them and check. Once again, all the necessary materials need to be reassigned. Also, I would like to clarify that when you assign a new parent, you should look at the name of the material and choose the appropriate one. Be careful with this. We just need to change the path to the project. We select the appropriate material and assign it. Keep in mind that there are also material variations. Variations where it says a K-mod also need to be fixed. As well as buttstock, you will need to change the project address in all of them. The next thing I would like to say is that we still need to work with render target materials. Here we do the same as before. But keep in mind that you should assign appropriate materials that are written in the line. Let's get back to the materials. Along with the master materials, there are simple materials. Everything is clear with the latter. The master materials are the material layers. We will need to change the materials, such as ML top, ML blend, and ML background. And the most annoying thing is that when we change them, all the textures and settings bust. Let's take a look at it. These materials are located in the folder called Material Layers, not Master Materials. We assign ML top. As I said before, the settings busted. And we will also change the ML blend. These textures refer to the correct project. Let's select a mask and reassign it. And now we can change the ML background layer. The settings have busted, but we'll address here. That's the trick. And, as you can see, I sorted them by color. We will assign masks here. The normal texture assign here. And this one here. That's it. That's the tricky way we reassign the materials. but we have a lot of materials to correct. You should search for them among all these here, and reassign them in this way. By the way, I would like to show you one more thing. Here we will find everything and fix it, but look, we have materials with numbers in our variations. They are corrected a little differently. Let me show you. We have the settings here. If we replace the ML top and the ML blend materials, then we may lose the settings, but we will use a trick again. We will replace it step by step. As you can see, our settings are identical, except for intensity. Let's replace ML top. Find the texture and assign it. This pattern with number refers to the wrong project. Therefore, be careful. Let's find the appropriate texture. Now let's copy the parameters. Let's take a look at it. Now we need to replace ML blend. We can address to this texture. Here we will describe the parameters. Now we replace the ML background. Find the texture. And assign it. Great! And this should be done in all materials with numbers. Well, I've finished correcting the materials, their paths, textures, and layers. Now let's transfer them to the project. It is necessary to create a folder called a KMod materials. And inside there should also be a folder called variations. We transfer everything where it says a KMod and buttstock. Now the materials themselves, we select up to here, everything where it says a KMod, but without this material. And we also select these two cartridges and these two materials. As you can see, the rest is the materials of sights, lenses, and so on. They are duplicated. This is where we transfer it. Let's check it again. Great! Let's start fixing the animation blueprints. Let's start with this one. Everything seems to work at first glance, but let's look here. See, it refers to the wrong path. Let me show it more clearly. See, that's why we renamed this blueprint, to make it immediately noticeable. Now look, see. We will have to redo most of the variables. Let's get down to work. So, remember what we have here. We connect it here and check for the validity of the current weapon. Delete them. Let's call the fire mode. We can't connect it here. Why can't we do this? Because the variable was created that way. Let's call the gun state. The same thing. We can't connect it, therefore, we delete these variables. Let's go here. These variables still remain here and there. So, we will need to replace both this and that. So now we will delete only variables. We delete them. Let's create them again. Replace the blend pose. Right-click, select Single, then Auto. Let's connect this blend pose. And here we will put zeros. That's why we renamed enums, so that it was clear what to replace. Here we repeat the procedure. Great, we're done here. Let's continue. Let's call the variables. Duplicate the current weapon. Let's call the variables from here. Let's call the weapon data. We will connect ammo current to the corresponding pin. We can't connect the mag type because the variable was created that way. Okay, we've done everything from this side. Now let's do it from this side. Let's call the visibility functions of magazines. So, we fixed everything here. Here too, everything should work. There is more to come. We need to fix other Anim blueprints. Let's take a look. Everything is fine here. Here, as you can see, it casts again to the wrong place. Let's choose the correct cast. Then call the current weapon. Open it and select Convert to Validated Get. Let's call the variable That's all, and we delete these guys. Everything is working. Now we'll fix this one. The same situation here. It casts to the wrong place. All this needs to be changed to the right ones. Let's call the cartridge visibility functions. Looks like that's all. Now we need to work with the animation blueprint here. You should copy the logic from a Kmod. Let's color the frame in blue to distinguish the logic of weapons from one another. We need to go to the Kmod project. Open the Anim graph. We're interested in these guys. Let's copy them. And go here to Anim BPR mod and make copy-paste. Let's assign a different color to the frame. These state machines refer to another project. Right here, and we need to break this connection. What do? We copy any state machine from the current project and we paste twice. Here is the logic from our mod, and we will need to recreate the logic from a Kmod. Let's copy the name without the letter M and rename it. It's temporary. Let's repeat it with this one. Now we reveal this state machine and open idle. Here we have an idle animation from our mod. Let's right here to find an idle animation from a Kmod. Enter the name in the search engine. Here it is, with the suffix reg. And here we have wiggle weak. Let's replace it. Let's start from this one. We need to replace it here. We write wiggle. Here we just have wiggle. We uncheck the loop animation. We don't need loop animation here. Why is the suffix reg here? Note that in the name is written no grip. That means the regular holding of the weapon with the left hand. And here is written grenade launcher, so the suffix is GL. And here is the suffix reg, therefore, do not confuse. We delete it. Write time remaining ratio and then select this function from the list. While we're here, let's continue with wiggle. Here is the wiggle weak. We also uncheck the loop animation. Repeat the action. Now let's go to the movement. We write speed. Oh, we need to delete man. We take this blend space. Now let's go to the jump. We write in the search engine jump. We need jump start reg. We uncheck the loop animation. We are looking for time remaining ratio. There's a loop animation. Do not uncheck the loop animation. We leave it. Then end. Here we uncheck the loop animation. Repeat the action. That's it. We've finished with this state machine. Here we will add the letter M. We are not paying attention to this yet. And let's change everything here in a similar way. But we change the animation with the suffix GL, since we are in state machine from grenade launcher. So, everything is all right here. This blend pose conflicts with the variable. Turn it off. We need to replace this blend pose. Select No Grip and Grenade Launcher. There are no other two types of animation in the project AK-mod yet at the time of recording the video, therefore, we have to type so far. We delete it. But that's not all. Remember this safe pose? And let's go here, player Anim state. Do you remember what I told you? Let me show you. Remember I told you that this anim state is very important in weapon data. It has to match the selected weapon. That's exactly how the weapon data table recognizes what kind of weapon the character is holding. So here we choose a Kmod anim state. In this blend pose there are anim states, such as without weapons, are mod. And now a Kmod. That's it, we're done here. Now we need to work with the weapon data table. As you can see, there is only a R mod in our project. That's why we are going to the Kmod project. We need to copy all the weapons, all the lines except the first one. Copy one line. Then we go to our main project. Click Add. A line appears. And click Paste. Everything about this line was copied except its name. We go to the Kmod project. Ctrl-C. Come back here. Ctrl-V, but that's not all. Now we need to fix the links. Look, now this attribute refers to the old project. Let's open it and find a similar name, but with an address for the current project. And we do the same here. Next, all animations in the arms montages have appropriate links, except hiccup animation with the index 4. Let's reassign it. The rest of the animations are correct. Here we will choose any attribute. So, bonus arms anim montages are correct, except for this one with the index 2. Here are all zeros. Let's take a look. Let's remember the data 80, -40, 40. And fill in the gaps with that data. Everything else was copied correctly. Keep in mind that it is necessary to repeat this process for the entire arsenal of weapons. Well, I've finished adding weapons from the Kmod project here, and I would like to show you some differences when filling in the data for grenade launcher. In bonus arms anim montages, idle animations with the indices 6 and 7 refer to the old project. We need to change the animations. But that's not all. We have another weapon with a grenade launcher. It's MGLDM. You have to repeat the action with this weapon. Now, we need to restart the project in order for the changes in the data table to take effect. When we renamed Enums, it helped us a lot. But we forgot to rename this blueprint in the AK mod project. BP weapon base. Let's do it now. Let's deal with these weapon blueprints. Did you notice where this blueprint refers to? That's the weapon. All settings got busted, but it's okay, we'll fix it. Where do we start? First of all, we need to reassign the parent class. To do this, we open the class settings. And here we choose the correct class. This class is what we need, and the other one we have specially renamed. A warning appears, but we agree with it. We will lose something, but that's all right. We will fix it. Let's turn it off and call. What do we have here? Ammo current. Let's find it and connect it to the pin. Hide unconnected pins. We can delete it. Let's look for more errors. Here is another error marked in red. And here we also need the pin ammo current. Let's copy it and do the same as we did before. Repeat the action. Let's compile it. Not everything is fixed yet. Here is the last error. Let's call current weapon. That's it. We fixed everything. We fixed everything here, and everything seems to be fine. But where is the weapon? Let's take a look. All settings got busted, both Anim class and skeletal mesh. But we remember that classic weapons were present here. But what caliber is this weapon? In the project, there are 2 calibers. To avoid confusion, let's take a look here. Cartridge 545. Great! So we'll be looking for a skeletal mesh from the classic AK mod with the caliber 545. But it is not clear without images here, so let's go get the mesh here. Here it is. Let's assign it. Here we need to choose the Anim BP class. This one. Let's find where it is here. Here it is. Let's choose and assign it. Compensator. Let's look for the compensator. There are two options. The first one is for the regular weapons, while the second one is for short weapons. Let's choose the first option. Let's assign it. It is not visible yet, but it is already in the right place. Why did it appear in the right place? Because we registered this weapon in the data table, and the system recognized it, and put the components in place automatically. How nice, isn't it? Then we have the suppressor. We will do the same procedure with it. Now scope. Here we use array from static meshes, but all of them refer to the wrong project. Therefore, we select, then look for a similar name, but with the correct link. This is how we have to fix all the slots in the array. Let's move on. With flashlight, we repeat the action as we did with the compensator. There are three options here. We will choose with a cable. Let's check it out. Yes, we chose the right one. The laser also refers to the wrong project. Let's fix it. We don't change anything here. In the spotlight, we have to change the material down here. Since we don't have bipods and grenade launcher in this weapon, then we leave the mesh slots empty. Case eject is empty. Let's find it. Since we have the caliber 545, then we choose the appropriate effect. Let's assign it. We have them in 0 coordinates, but we need it to be right here. We write 14 2.5. We need to raise it a bit, so let's write 9.5. That's what we need. Barrel Classic is right here. I wonder why is it lying down? Some other weapon components also are lying in 0 coordinates. We will change muzzle smoke to the correct one. Chamber smoke 2. The switcher has the correct address. So, everything seems to be all right, but why are the components in 0 coordinates? Because our settings got busted. Look, all these components were supposed to be inside the weapon SK mesh. Now we can put them using sockets. Select a component and read its name, then find a similar socket name. We attach the foregrip upper to the upper handguard bone. We attach the muzzle smoke to the muzzle barrel regular socket. But stock to the bone. That's it, we're done with this weapon. And now, it is necessary to fix all these weapon blueprints in the same way. I'll do this off camera, and then I'll be back. By the way, we have to weapon blueprints with a grenade launcher. Look, when you connect the mesh of the grenade launcher, don't forget to connect the Anim blueprint. Also, we have to weapon blueprints with bipods. It's the same with them. As I said before, I'll fix everything off camera, and then I'll be back. I would like to draw your attention that there is a trick to not memorize what kind of skeletal mesh was here when we reassign the parent class. Let's say you have selected a mesh. Let's click here, and we will see its location. Now let's reassign the parent class in the blueprint. We select Weapon SK Mesh, and since we already have our mesh selected, we can assign it immediately. That's all. Let's connect the Anim blueprint. There is one comment. Now we are faced with the fact that we have a separate magazine, and where to snap it. We connect it to the bone mag 1. Next, we connect cartridge in mag 1 to the bone cartridge 1. The name cartridge in mag 2 doesn't mean the second magazine, but the second cartridge. We do the same with it, and with the rest of the cartridges and feeder. We perform these actions only with the weapon separated from the magazine, not with any weapon. Case eject is again in 0 coordinates. Let's write the position for it. One more comment. The bipods got busted by themselves in this blueprint with bipods. Therefore, they will need to be assigned. And the Anim blueprint too. When we reassign, all the skeletal meshes bust. One more comment. In this AK-mod MWBP blueprint, there are 2 magazines separated from the skeletal mesh of the weapon. The first magazine we attach to the bone of the first magazine, and the second magazine we attach to the bone of the second magazine. I've already shown you the cartridges and feeder. We need to change the FL switcher. Chamber smoke too. Besides changing the address in the muzzle smoke, you need to assign not a regular, but a long barrel here. So we snap it to the muzzle barrel long. C. That's what I wanted to pay your attention to the muzzle smoke and the second magazine. Well, I've finished fixing all the weapon blueprints. I would like to decipher some names for you. The sep suffix in the name means that the magazine is separated from the weapon mesh. Its magazine is like a separate mesh. There are 2 such blueprints in the project. The rest are combined with magazines. The abbreviation M stands for Modern, GL Grenade Launcher, DM Drum Magazine, MW Modern Weapon, BP Bipods. Although there is no abbreviation DM, but there is bipods in the name. And here it says Grenade Launcher. Even though I said that I'm done fixing the weapon blueprints, but I'm not done with the materials in these blueprints. Let's get down to work. Let's go to the construction script. Do you see? The material refers to the AK-mod. Let's find the appropriate material. This one, and let's reassign it. Next, we will go to the event graph and pay attention to the materials. Here we have the correct addresses, but the invisible material is not correct. This is not an instance material, but a master material. It would be better to create an instance material from it. But we will continue as is. Let's select and assign. We will reassign it wherever necessary. That's not all. Here we have opaque glass. Let's find it in the instances. Let's assign it. Here is glass clear. Let's do the same. But that's not all. Let's open the scope current function, and here horror of horrors awaits us. All of these materials will need to be reassigned. Here is the material slot. And here you need to assign the material. What do? We read the name of the scope and look for it in the meshes. Here it is. There are two of them, and they are the same. Let's open it. Here's the material slot. Let's compare with the material slot of the material that we want to reassign. Let's find the material and assign it. Let's read the name of the next slot. They match. And so on. Now we will need to find the next scope mesh, and we repeat the steps according to what we have already done. Be careful, do not just assign materials in order, but read the name of the material slot. Now we have the FLMG site. Slot names don't match. Wait. It looks like I copied the materials for this site from another site. And now we don't have the right slots and materials for it. This is a mistake, of course. And I suspect that this site has the wrong materials, not only in a K-mod, but also in our mod. We will have to check and fix it later. Let's reassign both slots and materials. These materials for the FALMG will have to be corrected everywhere. Repeat the action. Now we have the SNPR scope. It refers to the correct address. We don't change anything here. That's where we'll start changing. Wait, take a look. I have just returned the material back. There is the wrong material here. We have to assign opaque glass here. Keep in mind, the slot M glass B in the SNPR scope the material is opaque glass. The next slot is M layer 2. And the site has M layer 1, but M layer 1 was assigned earlier. But we don't change it because it is correct. Be careful with slots. M layer 3 is in construction script. We have already changed it. Now we have the RUCS. Let's find it. Repeat the action. Look, our slots don't go the way they do in the blueprint. Don't get confused. Assign strictly by the slot name. Repeat the action. This site has a similar situation. So, now the PSOPR. Here we have the correct material. We will work with these guys. Wait. The same situation with opaque glass. That's all. Now all the materials have been corrected here. Let's open the next weapon blueprint. Here we need to change everything in the same way. But we'll do it this way. We have the same sights here, right? Therefore, without thinking twice, we select and copy this. But do not get confused from which to which blueprint you copy. From this blueprint we copy. And here we delete and paste. We will copy them and paste one by one. We are not interested in this, but only this. Take a look here. We copied the FALMG materials. If we delete these materials now, we will lose the connection. That's why we put a point here. So, we came to this side. We are not interested in this. We change only this part. Here, too, it is necessary to put a point. Repeat the action. It seems when I was making a copy-paste, I mixed up this FALMG. Therefore, we must always look carefully at what we paste. Repeat the action. Nice. But we remember that this is not all. After all, we still have materials here. Since this is a separated mesh, materials are not needed here. We pay attention here. Here's the appropriate material. And here it is necessary to reassign it. But that's not all. Remember that we also need to reassign the material in the construction script. There was this blueprint. Now let's open this one. Everything still needs to be changed here. Changed here. And there. But I would like to draw your attention to the fact that as opposed to the previous blueprints, we have this material. Mount 45. We change everything. But when we get to this material, we look for it in instances. It is called PR Mount 45. Keep that in mind. Well, I've finished assigning materials in weapon blueprints. Now we need to assign materials for some meshes. We need switchers with tapes and the LCU mesh with the cable. Look! The switcher materials in these meshes refer to another project. So let's assign the appropriate material. Nice! We have finished assigning materials. Now let's check if we did everything right. Let's temporarily place all the weapons from the K-Mod project on the scene. Well, let's see. Let's start with this weapon. Great! Well, everything is fine here. Everything works here. Well then. Everything works. Now it's time to work with the pickup items. Look, the blueprints of the sites are duplicated in this project. All we need from this project is ammo, compensator, LCU, and suppressor. Let's take a look. Now this blueprint is a child class of this parent class, which is the blueprint of the AK-mod project. Let's find it. As we know, this is the parent class of weapons. And this is the parent class of the selected attachments and ammo. We didn't rename it. Now I'll explain why. If we change the parent class in this blueprint, this logic will bust, and you can get confused while restoring it, as you can see here. A lot of things are based on the data table. I don't see the point in redoing it all. Here's what we'll do. We will not change their parent class, we'll do it differently. We will simply create new blueprints in the current project. They can be created in this way. We find the BP gun attach or ammo pickup and create a child class. But it's such a long approach, even though it would be clean. But we are lazy, right? So, let's continue to be lazy. Let's select the RMod ammo and duplicate this blueprint. Let's rename it to the AK-mod ammo. Let's open this blueprint. We don't change anything in the event graph, but we need this function. Let's rename it. And call it. This function checks the weapon caliber. At the moment, the caliber is here with the index 3. Let's find the enum with calibers. Let's open it. See, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the caliber of the RMod. 4, 5, 6. We need this one with the index 6 for the AK-mod. Therefore, we write 6 here. Now, this function will check the caliber of the AK-mod, but that's not all. Now there are meshes of the RMod magazines, so they need to be replaced. Let's go here and choose the full magazine. These are empty. Let's go here, select this component, and assign it here. We also need to move this mesh so that it fits nicely between these magazines. This mesh also needs to be changed. It has shifted. Let's fix it. Let's put this blueprint on the scene. We'll make 2 more copies. Now let's check how it works. Oh, we didn't place the weapon on the scene. Let's temporarily put any of the weapons. Let's come closer. We can take it, but we can't take this one because it's a different caliber. Everything is great. Let's continue work. Well, let's change the compensator. Let's make a duplicate. Let's write the caliber 545 and 762. By the way, wait. We haven't renamed ammo. Now, when we come closer to the ammo, the widget shows us the correct name. Let's go back to the compensator. Let's change the mesh for it. Let me remind you that we are here. Let's do it similarly to how it was implemented in that project. We need to change the collision preset. Let's repeat the settings. Let's scroll down the settings. Find the component tags and make 2 elements. Let's copy the names of the elements. Why are we doing this? When we come closer to this item, therefore the outline is highlighted in red. To do this, we copied the collision settings and these tags. Where to place the compensator on the scene? Well, let's at least temporarily place it here. It is necessary to change its name. Let's check it out. Oh, we forgot to change the caliber in the blueprint. We didn't write 6 here. Let's check it again. Nice. everything works. And we do the same with the suppressor. It will not be possible to put dots in the name here, so we write it together. Let's put it on the scene. Well, let's check it out. Everything works. And we have the last blueprint left. We have a dilemma here. Do you get what's the matter? It's clear with ammo, we have a different caliber, and the compensator has a different caliber, and the suppressor too. But the fact is that the lasers are all located on the Picatinny. So, I suggest to make a joint blueprint for laser designators. Shall we call them flashlights, or what do we call them? Lasers maybe. Okay, let's call them flashlights. When we pick up this blueprint, the appropriate flashlight will be automatically attached. We will probably do that, because it will be strange if we write the caliber. Maybe we can delete these components. I'm wondering if I should keep the laser. Okay, I'll keep it. Let's add another mesh here. Let's put it next to it. Let's duplicate the laser here. Let's rename it. Let's also change the name of the blueprint itself. There is an error in the redirector. Let's fix it. Let's check it out. Let's come closer. Oh, we forgot to highlight it. Well, I guess that's how we'll manage. Let's go back and do the outline highlighting. Now let's come closer and take a look. It is highlighted. But the truth is, if we choose this flashlight, we will still get another one. That's the compromise. Now we have to delete these red folders. Well, we have come to the moment when it is already necessary to clean the project. Let's take a look. Keep in mind that we should clean the project from complex to simple. Let's consider the case of textures. Can we delete them? No, we can't, because textures are used in materials. We also can't delete the materials because they are used in meshes. And we can't delete meshes because they are used in blueprints. Well, let's open the blueprints. This folder is empty, so we can delete it. Here is the pickup items. Let's delete it too. There are no bindings, so we can safely delete it. Now we can delete the meshes. Nice. From now we can delete the materials. These references are inside the folder, so we can delete them. It's in a hang state, but that's okay. The system is checking the process, and after that we can continue. Alright, now let's try to delete the textures. We can't do this because of these two textures. Let's find them. It looks like they are in the FX folder. Yes, here they are. Let's try to delete them. Oh, this texture is used in the bullet hole decals. And this one is also used somewhere. Okay? Can we delete this laser? No, we can't. As you can see, we can't delete textures yet. They have bindings. Let's do it differently then. Let's go into the character's blueprint. Almost everything is based on this blueprint. Therefore, it will be extremely difficult for us to find all the bindings. So, now we're just going to go ahead and delete everything in this blueprint. Literally everything. Since we are not going to use this blueprint, so it won't hurt us to delete everything in it. We have cleaned the vent graph. Let's now delete the remaining graphs. The construction script is empty. Let's delete all functions. Maybe there is a more elegant way to do this, but we are lazy to mess with all this. We delete only what we have created ourselves. Well, let's delete these guys. And it will be nice. We're done here. Can we delete this? No, we can't. There are still bindings here. Okay, let's go to the weapons. To this blueprint. And let's delete everything here too. In the construction script, we delete only up to here. Let's delete all functions. We will also delete the variables, so that no bindings remain. Nice. So, can we delete it? Yes, we can. Nice. We can't delete it. And we can't delete it either. Let's get back to the character. We can't delete the animation because it is used in the montage. Let's try to delete the montage. We can't do that. Let's then go into the character's Anim blueprint, and we will delete everything inside. Let's clean the event graph. Now let's go to the Anim graph. Let's disconnect the output pose and delete everything else. Okay, we're done here. Now let's delete the montage and these two guys. Now, we can delete the animations and Anim blueprint too. Let's keep the audio for now. Let's go into the character's blueprints. Let's clean everything here. Let's delete everything in the UMG folder. Let's delete the camera shake folder. Let's try to delete this and this. Can we delete all of them? No, we can't. Let's go back. Let's try to delete this struct. What about this? Can we delete it? Yes, we can. It means we can delete all of them too. Probably we can delete this one too. Great. I think we can delete all of them. Yes, we can. Let's delete this folder and this blueprint. Let's clean the FX folder. Now we can delete the folder with textures. We'll come back to the audio later. Can we delete the demo folder? No, there is still a binding. Let's look for it. Here in this animation. This particle effect refers to the wrong project. Now let's go back and try again to delete the FX folder in demo. Let's wait. I'll probably speed up the video. When I deleted this folder, the project seemed to hang for about 5 minutes. Don't be surprised and don't be scared. Can we delete these guys? Yes, we can, and we can delete it too. Well, we have only audio left in this and this folders. Let's take a look. Let's try to delete it. It works. What about this one? No, we can't delete it. Let's copy the file name. Let's try to delete. And do replace references, but be careful what you replace. We repeat the steps with this file. And with this file too. I showed you this redirector button for a reason. Let's push it. As you can see, the files still refer to the wrong project. We need to fix it. This is done by right-clicking on the file and selecting Fix Up. That's all. We can delete these files. Make it a rule to double-check. Let's do replace references for each blue file in this folder. Let's fix errors. And we'll just delete these files. The grenade launcher folder. Can we just delete it? Yes, we can. We can simply delete files with numbers, while in the file with the same name but without numbers. We do replace references. Can we delete it? Yes, we can, and this will most likely have to be done by replace references. It turns out that no. Probably here it is necessary to perform replace references. Let's fix errors. I suppose you understand the algorithm of actions. We can delete the entire weapons folder. We can delete all files from the beginning to the gun check. For check end, check proceed, and check start, it is necessary to do replace references. For gun take 2, we can delete all remaining files up to the steps queue and do replace references for it. Do fix for errors. And delete the remaining files. That's all. Now let's see how everything works. Let's bring back any weapon from a Kmod here. Everything works. In conclusion, I would like to say that I tried to make a step-by-step instruction for you on how to combine two projects from the CGR version. I hope I managed to do it. Thanks to all my loyal customers. I am glad that you like my projects. As you know, I try to improve and supplement them. Thank you all, and goodbye.